Hey, welcome back everyone. I hope you're all having an amazing week so far, and given that now Mission Impossible 7 Dead Reckoning Part 1 is officially out in theaters, we're witnessing basically Indiana Jones 5 meeting a box office pause essentially. This is exactly why we talked about in the last post that Disney hit the panic button, and they are literally pulling Indiana Jones 5 out of the theaters as we know it. You guys may want to look up your own showtimes for Indiana Jones 5 on Google, and slide through the dates. You'll notice that either your full theaters are diminishing or show times of said theaters are shortening quite drastically over the next few days. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into the subject. Now, we know that there are a lot of individuals, specifically those like Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, that have been upselling this movie to no end, to the point where it literally comes across like they are absolutely trying to salvage this movie and to kind of stall things to get the fans into the theaters as much as possible before this movie just dwindles completely. Now, the thing about Indiana Jones 5, alright, there were multiple factors that went into the failure at the box office. It didn't necessarily just have to do with the fact that they overly invested or overly funded this thing, but it had a lot to do with the story, it had much to do with the character of Helena, and a lot of other factors. But when it involves actress Phoebe Waller-Bridge, alright, she's been pretty much unleashed lately, really downplaying the fans, really, of course, unveiling specific new truths about Indiana Jones 5 that explains a lot of reasons why this movie is a bit of a downer. Not a bit, but quite a large, disappointment. But when you look at Phoebe Waller, alright, on top of this, with Phoebe Waller-Bridge as one of the many still promoting Indy 5 to this day, she recently dropped some very revealing news for Indy 5 that will have to do with a specific shot. Now, Phoebe stated the following to the fans: "Well, yeah, with this film, I didn't write the script, but Mangold gave me the greatest opportunity to contribute since he knows I'm a creator myself." By the way, she's talking about Fleabag. And one of the great big ideas that I thought was necessary was that Helena needed to punch Indiana Jones out cold to really knock some sense into him. I mean, I thought the scene was pretty funny and quite hilarious actually, because we had to do a couple of takes doing that, but we chose a take where it cuts to black. There was an extended scene in which I was dragging Indiana back to the plane, but James felt that was dragging the story a bit and really didn't make much sense. But yes, that was my idea, to make Helena this type of badass, I also contributed to this moment that I really wanted to do in this movie, and so I asked James, how about we have a type of goddaughter that is like a sassy type of personality, I didn't really want her to be this very loyal and loving character at first, and wanting to give her this attitude for her to have this redemption moment toward the end. Now, let me just say one thing here about Phoebe Waller-Bridge. It almost comes across like she was begging James, "Let me play myself, Mr. Mangold." That's what she comes across as. She always likes to call him that. And we know that we have a lot of things going into Indiana Jones 5, right? There were a lot of, complications that happened behind the scenes, especially when Ford injured his shoulder. A lot of story changes actually came into play. But we also know that Phoebe Waller contributed to this script as much as she did with Indiana Jones, or with, of course, James Bond 25, No Time to Die. And I think that's why a lot of fans felt like No Time to Die had some scenes in there that were just really not needed and unnecessary, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Such as when the female character takes the 007 moniker. That was Phoebe Waller's idea. That was all her idea, for a female to be 007 for a temporary time in No Time to Die. And so that's basically her kind of testing the limits of what they can do at the time. Obviously, if they wanted to, they would definitely make a female 007. There's no question about it. But looking forward to where things are heading now with Lucasfilm, everything rests on Ahsoka. That really is a make or break situation. It really is, guys. It's the ultimate truth here. It's sad but true, but it is. And now, moving on to the next thing here, this is where things begin to really unravel. Now, she states further, and James really loved that idea. He's talking about her, the goddaughter, being sassy. He felt to fit the story for the whole goddaughter thing, since Helena doesn't really view Indy as real family anyway, so she feels she can betray him and do all these complicated things to him without remorse. That wouldn't have worked if I was, for example, a niece or some sort of relative, which is something James wanted to do in the beginning when experimenting with the script. But to my solution as goddaughter, it made sense. Let's do a goddaughter, and it worked so effectively, it was almost perfect. No, it was perfect. And I got so engaged in this role because I really got to play who I wanted to project onto the big screen. It was a thrill of a lifetime, and I just enjoyed this part so very much. Now again, guys, I think that Phoebe basically was excited because she was playing herself, basically. This was all self-projected. And again, Phoebe Waller always plays the same exact way in all of her movies for the most part, or even creations, or shows, whatever have you. Fleabag, Solo: A Star Wars Story, in this case, Indiana Jones. It's all the same type of attitude. It's always the same type of body language. It's just encased in there. And when you look at Phoebe Waller herself, alright, I know a lot of people out there are like, oh, I didn't mind Phoebe Waller-Bridge, what are you talking about? I think a lot of fans have an issue with Phoebe Waller's acting in this movie, and you're gonna see some people out there that delight in her acting in this film and felt like, you know, there were no issues with her character in this movie. And yeah, you're always going to get that. You're going to get people that have differing opinions, and look, that's fine. That's a part of being human after all, right? Not here to change that. I'm not here to convince anybody. You know, that's not my overall goal here. But what my goal is that Indiana Jones 5 truly is not a genuine message to fans and a love letter of the Indiana Jones franchise. This was literally nothing more than a money-making scheme. Kathleen Kennedy using that title, slapping it on to something that is not genuine or coming from the heart or coming from true passion, and that's why it feels soulless. When I went into this, experience, when I saw this film, from a very specific view, by the way, it very much felt depressing. It felt very flat and dull, and I just don't really know how to put my words into this, but it just felt very out of touch, much like The Last Jedi. I came out feeling like that was sad, like literally that was sad and depressing, and you just walk out and you're like, I don't know what to feel. I feel nothing. That's how I felt with Indiana Jones 5. It didn't carry with me at all. So anyway, this is, of course, a very big problem with Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She has no sense of, direction, no sense of what the fans want to see on the big screen, and this is exactly why I worry what she's about to do with Tomb Raider in her upcoming Tomb Raider series for Amazon. Yes, guys, she is making, and I say making, a Tomb Raider show. So guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.